So may the words that I say benefit them in this season of their life, whenever they may watch this video, God, and may you be glorified. I am your vessel. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, let's get into it.
The way I'm feeling, the things I say, all just happen. You pass my way. What can I do to make you stay? I know it's getting late, but girl, I don't want you to leave. You tell me you're just not the type. You wanna do this right. I'm not trying to say I don't believe.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea if you're new, and if you're not new, then welcome back. All right, we are here with episode 2 of Finance Fridays, and we're talking all things budgeting, right? We love budgeting. Yes, we do. Okay, so if you're new to this channel or if you're new to this episode, then I want to share with you who I am and what Finance Friday is a YouTube series dedicated to educating young single women like myself, and maybe you if you're watching this, on the importance of preparing your finances and setting yourself up for generational wealth, right? Trigger word, because we always hear that in social media and in society. So now we're gonna learn how to actually obtain it. And I'm gonna do that by sharing what I've learned and what I am learning along the way. As I mentioned in last week's episode, which if you have not seen it, it's gonna be up here somewhere, I talked about emergency funds, but I also talked about my journey to debt freedom 2022. So this year I am starting, well, not really starting, but really completing. My desire and my goal and my prayer is to complete my debt freedom journey by the end of this year. And I believe God is going to do it. So I'm sharing it with you guys so y'all can join me. So if you are wanting to be debt free, you can learn how to do it too. Okay? Let's get started with what is a budget. Now, you guys know, again, if you watched last week's episode, and if you know me, then you know I am a definitions girl. I believe definitions are important because it helps you to understand the purpose of a thing, and you are less likely to just treat it casually when you understand the definition and the meaning behind it. Okay, so what is a budget? And I have my iPad here because my phone is charging. So we're going to look up what a budget is. A budget is a financial plan for a defined period, often 1 year. It may also include planned sales volumes and revenues, resource quantities, costs and expenses, assets, liabilities, and cash flows. All I heard was wah, wah, wah. Okay, at the end of that. All you need to know is that a budget is a financial plan, okay? It's not, I mean, it does give you restrictions, but it's not something that is meant to like hoard over you or to, you know, cause you to be burdened down or bogged down with stress and anxiety. In fact, it's actually meant to do the opposite, okay? So when you have a budget in place, you are telling your money where to go. Right? When you have a budget in place, you are able to say, hey, this amount of money I've set aside for this particular goal, for this particular item, for this particular expense, and that's what you're going to use it for. Okay? So it just helps you to have accountability in your life, because a lot of times, and myself included, because I've done this, I just have money come into my account and I'm just spending. I'm like, oh, I see money over here. Let me go out to eat. Or, oh, I have this over here. Let me go do this. And I did not calculate what expenses I had. I did not calculate what bill was coming out when, all of those things. And so what ends up happening is you have negatives in your account. You have overdraft fees. You have a bad reputation with lenders and with, you know, banks and all of those things. So having a budget in place helps you to take better stewardship over your finances and helps you to get back into control over where your money goes. Money is what's that word? I don't know the word, but it's like an object, like it has no feelings, okay? So you get to control it. You get to tell it where it goes, where it doesn't go, what it's saved for, what it's not saved for, where you spend it. It should not tell you, okay? Remember that. It should not tell you. So now that we know what a budget is and what the purpose of it is, where is a budget located? A budget can be located on your phone. It could be located in an app. It can be located on an Excel spreadsheet, which we're going to talk about in this video. I'm going to show you guys 2 ways that you can create a budget. So I have 2 budgets. Well, I have 1 budget, but it's located on 2 different places, in 2 different places. So I have 1 budget, which is an Excel spreadsheet on my computer. And then I also have one in the notes section of my iPhone, which helps me to see due dates, daily expenses, things like that. Okay, so we're going to change the camera a little bit around, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like to create a mock budget. Now, this mock budget template that I'm going to be mentioning is going to be linked in the description box. So once you finish this video, you can start your budget. There should be no excuses. Okay, so the mock budget template will be down below for you guys to use and to start creating your budget. All right, so let's get into it. So guys, and now we're going to get started with our mock budget template. As I mentioned in the last clip, this will be located in the description box. So if you want to do it with me, you're more than welcome to, and you'll be able to access this on your own. So we're going to open up the mock budget template. When it opens up, you'll see it says beginning April 2022, which is perfect because we're starting today. We're not waiting until tomorrow or next week. Now, as you can see at the top, it has pay period 1 and pay period 2, and then it has total. So this is perfect for those of us who receive consistent income twice a month, or if you get paid, every week or however often you get paid, you can always adjust this as possible. But starting out, this is for people who get paid twice a month, okay? On the left-hand side, you see where it says income. Then you have stream 1, stream 2, and stream 3, because these days we need multiple streams of income. But also, if you do have multiple streams of income, maybe you have 3 different side hustles, or you have a main job and a side hustle, you can put all of your income that you receive right here to the left. Even if you receive, say, a stipend from school or something like that, you can put this in your income, and then it will also translate into the actual budget. I want to give a huge shout out to my best friend, Key Amber, which at the recording of this video, she is in the process of having her baby girl, Olivia Ray. I'm super excited. I just want to give her a huge shout out because she actually was the one who helped me to start a budget back in college. This is the same exact budget that she gave me when we were freshmen in college. So huge shout out to her. And with this budget, it also has the calculations already in there, so you don't really have to do anything. Literally, all you have to do is input your numbers and you're good to go. So we're going to start with stream 1. We see that our budget, or that we're budgeting with $1,500, so $1,552. You can also put in the actual section here if you have an actual amount. So let's say you're planning to have $1,552, but you ended up getting $1,736. Okay, I feel like that's something from a song. 17. Oh no, never mind. That's from Fetty Wap. So we're gonna hit the button. I think. Let's go. Okay. So in actuality, we got $1,736. We're budgeting for $1,552. Okay. So that's where you would put the actual. If you have a second stream, let's put. Well, actually there we can put the 1736, okay? And like I said, all you have to do is input the numbers, and when you input the numbers, it changes at the bottom. So the formulas are already put into the actual spreadsheet, and like I said, you just put the numbers in. So we're actually gonna remove that. Okay. We're going to add the 1736 here. So, with that being said, we are budgeting for $3,288, so $3,288 that we will receive every 2 weeks. Okay, and if you have a third stream of income, you'll put that in there. Now, let's go down to the fixed expenses. So fixed expenses are the bills that you know are going to be the same every month, every 2 weeks, however often they come, and you know that they do not change. So a lot of times that is your rent and utilities. For some people, your rent and utilities are included. For others, it's separate. What I love about this particular budget template is that you can add different sections. So there are 2 blank sections here, and you can add 2 more even on top of that to adjust to your personal lifestyle. So when you create a budget is not a one size fits all, okay? It should fit your particular lifestyle. So what may work for someone else may not work for you, and what may work for you may not work for someone else, and that is okay. Your budget is for you and your household, all right? So rent and utilities, it says 60 on here. We're gonna go with, because right now the cost of living is pretty high. So let's just say, so with your rent and utilities, this is just a tip. You always want to make sure that your rent and utilities is 1/3 of what you actually make a month. Okay, so if we go back up here, you'll see that it says $6,576. So let's pull up our calculator. So we're going to find the calculator. Where's the calculator? Right here. Okay, we don't want that. So, what do we say for our monthly amount is $6,576 divided by 3. Oh wait, let's try it again. 6,576 divided by 3. So 2,192. That means that based on the example budget that we have right now, our rent and utilities should not equate to more than $2,192. All right. So let's put that there. Let's go with 1,800. All right. Let's keep it low. So we know that that is a fixed expense. I'm going to remove these zeros here because they're kind of in the way, and I don't want them to distract you guys from what we are working on. Okay, so your rent and utilities only comes out once a month. So what I love about this budget is, again, these fixed expenses, you can determine which pay period you're going to pay what. All right, so when I get to the notes section on the iPhone section of my budget, that's where I put the due dates, and I get to choose which pay period am I paying which bill depending upon when it is due. If you notice here in the second fixed expense, my car note, I put the 15th of each month because that is when my car note is due. And you guys will put, if you have a car and you have a car note, then you will put the due date next to it. I always like to put the due date, and I like to make it a reminder in my phone so that way I do not forget, okay? So with pay period number 1, that's the first of the month, we're gonna pay our rent and utilities, which is $1,800. We're gonna pay our car notes, which we can actually move to the second pay period because usually people get paid the 15th and the 1st. Tentatively, you know, some people are different. If you're an entrepreneur, you might get paid every day or every month, however you have it set up in your business. But this is for your personal finances, okay? So now we moved the $280, which I just put that because that's what I pay for my car note. You can put whatever amount that you pay. If it's higher, lower, it doesn't matter. If you don't even have a car, you don't even have to put this in your fixed expenses, okay? Or if you don't have a car note, you don't have to put that in your fixed expenses, which is even better, all right? Next is your internet and streaming or cable. We love streaming services, okay? We have Hulu, we have Paramount Plus, we have Peacock, we have Disney Plus, Netflix, which Netflix, they keep going up. I don't really like that, but I'm not paying the bill. My mama is. So we're going to put our internet and streaming cable services here. So if depending upon when your internet or your streaming subscriptions are due, that is when you would put them under which pay period, okay? So let's just say we put it under the first pay period and it's $60, okay? So let's put 60. Then the next, your emergency fund. Yay, that's your high yield savings account. If you aren't familiar with that, please go check out last week's video all about emergency funds. That's where I mention it in depth about what an emergency fund is, where it's located, how to build one, and where to start. But we're not going to talk about that today. So as you see in your emergency fund, You want to put as much money as you can till you reach the $1,000 goal, and then from there you can adjust it however you need it. So we'll leave it at the $421 for right now. Discover, if you have a credit card, you know that your credit card statement comes out every month, usually at the end of the month, so that's why it's on the second pay period here. This $49 is an example minimum payment. You always want to pay it in full. So let's say you spent $200 on your credit card that month. So we'll put $200 for the pay period. You don't want to do the minimum payment. You always want to pay it in full, okay? Daycare for my ladies with babies. Yes. So if you have to pay for daycare for your child or for your dog, if you're a fur mama, then you want to include this in your fixed expenses as well, because you know how much this is going to cost every single month, and or if it's bi-weekly or every week, okay? So you want to have this in your fixed expenses. Like I said earlier, fixed expenses are everything that you know is going to be the same amount, or you know you're going to have to pay it every single month. It's fixed for a reason, all right? It's things that are going to be coming out on a consistent basis. Tithes and offerings, all right? We talked about this. Y'all know me, okay? I believe in giving the Lord what he is due, okay? He is due everything, but when it comes to our tithes and offerings, he's definitely due our 10%. So 10% of our $6,576 that we make a month is what? $658. We'll round up. So we'll put that here at the first of the month. So it's going to be 658. All right. We'll put that in there. That's our tithes. Okay. And if you want to add more for your offerings, you're more than welcome to. So that's for your fixed expenses. Now we're going to go down here to the variable expenses, okay? So groceries. How much do you spend on groceries? When you create a budget, it is very important that you know how much you are spending, right? So again, like I mentioned, I was a part of Daisha Kennedy's Fall Out of Debt Challenge, which I'll link her information down below. And she had us to go back through our bank statements for the past 3 months and highlight the areas where we spent the most money or where we had reoccurring charges. And so for me, one of those charges was groceries. So I looked at how much I would spend within a month's time on groceries, and then I would calculate that into my budget. So for example, let's say you spend $500 on groceries and you want to split that up into 2 pay periods so you can properly budget for that. You're going to put $250 for the first pay period, and then another $250 for the second one. So then you have $500 every month dedicated to your groceries. All right. Okay. Gas. How much do you spend on gas? $60 every 2 weeks, or however often you spend. If it's 30, I know gas is going up, so we'll go down this time, but you'll just put how much you spend on gas. Again, like I said, please look at how much you are spending now. So when you get ready to create your budget, you want to look at how much you are already spending so you can see what you need to allocate where and how you need to readjust your money moving forward. Sinking funds. This is my favorite topic because you basically create money, you put aside money for different things that you want to do. So as you see here, I have travel, home decor, etc. So sinking funds means you're gonna spend that money. Like you're not saving necessarily for anything, but you're saving to spend, right? So if you know you want to take a trip, or you know you like to travel, set aside money just for that. If you know you like to decorate your apartment, or you know you like to go shopping and buy new clothes, or you want to invest in something, the sinking fund is specifically for that. We can talk about that in another video, but that's what this variable expense is. Eating out and DoorDash, which is my favorite. I love DoorDash. I probably use DoorDash more than I buy groceries these days. But if you eat out a lot or you buy DoorDash, put it in your budget. I don't believe in necessarily like limiting yourself in a sense of, okay, just because you like something, then you need to cancel it altogether. No, I think you should balance it out, right? So if you like to eat out, you like DoorDash, set aside money for that. You may not be able to spend as much money as you would like to eat out and DoorDash while you're creating your budget and while you're building your finances, but you can at least treat yourself once a month, however often. So we'll put 0 for this for now, because we don't need, we just bought groceries, right? All right, fitness. You see it's 0 because I don't work out. If you have a membership or something like that, then that's where this would come into play. I'm going to put 0 because I no longer have a membership. So it can be 0, you know? And then you save some money because I work out at my apartment when I do work out. Nails, ladies, we love to get our nails done. We love to get our lashes done. Budget for those things. If you know how much it costs for you to keep your nails looking nice, put that in your budget. For me, I'm not getting my nails done right now, but usually it costs me $50. Why? Because I only get the SNS. I don't get the acrylics anymore. I have been enjoying my natural nails. So I don't really have to spend any money on that. Molly care. Molly is my dog, if you did not know. So when she goes to the groomer or anything like that, I do set money aside for her. For this particular example, I'm going to put 0 because everybody may not have a dog or children. So they may not have those expenses, okay? Now, at the bottom here, you will see, if I go back up, you'll see for fixed expenses how much is coming out with each pay period. And then when you get to the bottom of variable expenses, you'll see how much is coming out, right? So 280, 280. So your net is how much you are left with. So after your income, right, that's what you're bringing in. And then when you subtract your fixed expenses and your variable expenses, your net is what you are left with after those expenses are taken out. If you think about it from a tax perspective or maybe from a business perspective, your gross income is how much you make without taxes, without, insurance, all of those things. But once those things are taken out, your net is your actual take-home pay. So for those of us who are looking to get an apartment, your apartment complex is going to look at your gross income, not the net. Okay, they're going to look at the gross. So that's why I said you want to do a third of your gross income. Okay, so let's go back down. Your net, $69. That's really not a lot your first pay period. But if you look at what we just paid, we spent $1,800 in rent and utilities, which can be higher or lower depending upon your personal situation. $60 for streaming and cable. So that might be a lot. You may need to say, hey, you know what? For the next 30 days, I'm going to unsubscribe from Netflix. I'm going to unsubscribe from Hulu. I'm going to take a break from Amazon Prime, whatever that is to be. So the great part of looking at this budget is if you see that your net is not high enough for you to have, for my miscellaneous expenses, then you want to go back through your fixed and variable expenses to see what can you rearrange. So let's say for the internet, we only spend $15 net, for the month, right? And then for our emergency fund, let's say, okay, so for my emergency fund, let's say I already met my $1,000 goal. All right, so we can actually bring this down to say 0. So then because we've already met our goal, we don't necessarily have to put any money in there right now. That does not mean that you don't need to put any more money ever in there. But for right now, we don't have to put that in there, right? So that brings down our fixed expenses to $24.73. Okay, tithes and offerings, we're going to keep that the same because we do not play with God and his money. He gets that first, all right? First is not second. Now, if we go back down to our net, now you see it's $535. That's more than enough to live off on until your next pay period, right? So when it comes to budgeting, when you see how much you have right here, that does not mean that you can go and buy the new Balenciaga sneakers or no, that money means that you need to decide where this money is going to go. And we're going to talk about that down here. All right, so down here we have our debts. To the left, you see credit card, 2022 taxes, because it is tax season, baby, car loans, any other debt. So if you have debts, like myself, then you would put your balance in these boxes here, right? And it would calculate how much debt you have, all right? And then at the bottom, you have your account. So you have your personal checking. You would put how much money you have in there. Your high yield savings account, aka your emergency fund, you would put $1,000 there. And you have your regular savings, and you'll put whatever amount you have there. Okay? This is your mock budget template. Okay? I explained it to the best of my ability, but if you still have questions, please leave a comment down below and I will try to answer it to the best of my ability. All right? Now, let's keep going. Guys, now I'm going to show you how I create a budget on my iPhone in the notes section. Okay? So you want to open up the notes in your phone, and I specifically have a tab titled 2022 just because I love to journal and I love to write, and I want to commemorate and remind myself of everything that's going on in 2022. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to the topic at hand. So in your notes section, you want to create a tab stated or titled as 2022 Debt Freedom. So at the top of this note, you will see I have my snowball effect method. So this is total debt to pay off in 2022. Now I've kind of rearranged it a little bit just to fit the example, so you guys do not see my personal information, but to give you an example of what you can expect and how you can create your own, this is what you will see. So total debt to pay off in 2022. At the top, you have, if you have a credit card bill, let's say you spent $271.47, then that will be your smallest payment. So when you do the snowball effect method, which is also a baby step in the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace University, which will also be linked down below as well. I did mention it in last week's video. So if you have not had a chance to check it out, I'll leave the links down below as well. But in this method, you are going to write down your debt from smallest to largest, and you will pay it accordingly. So if you have a minimum payment on your larger bills, you'll still pay those, but you want to pay the smaller bills in full, and the money that you would spend for the smaller bills, once it's paid off, you would put towards the larger bills. Okay? So credit card, $271.47, that's the smallest. Then Sephora. I have a video coming for you guys for my Sephora VIB haul. So let's say I spent $300 at Sephora. That would be the next highest bill. Then a medical bill, $589.26. And then my student loans, Discover, if you have a personal loan, a car loan, collections, all of that good stuff. All right, so that's what you want to do at the top of this note section. Then when you come to the bottom, you'll see where it says April 8th paycheck, and then I have an example amount of your paycheck based on what we did in the mock budget template just before this clip. So if that is your paycheck every 2 weeks, then you'll put that amount at the top, and then you will put down what is coming out of this particular paycheck. So as you see, I have tithes and offerings, car note, groceries, gas, Amazon Prime, and then I have blank at the bottom, total and remaining. This is very important because you want to calculate how much will be coming out and how much you can expect to see after those things come out. A quick tip is to have automatic payments. That is super important to have automatic payments so you don't miss a payment due date. Also writing your due dates next to the actual item so that you can see what date it's going to be coming out on. So let's calculate how much our total expenses are with this paycheck and what we have remaining. All right, so I'm going to turn my notifications off so I don't keep getting pop-ups, but we're going to go to the calculator. So I have it right here. So we have an income of $1,552.14, $1,552.14. So we're going to subtract our tithes and offerings, which I said was $156. Then that leaves us with $1,396.14. We're going to subtract our car note, which is $280. That leaves us with $1,116.14. Then we're going to subtract our groceries, which is $70. That leaves us with $1046.14. Then we're going to take out gas. That leaves us with $1015.61. And then Amazon Prime, $99. That leaves us with $916.61 remaining. Okay, so $916.61. All right, let's calculate the total cost of expenses. So 156 plus 280 plus 70 plus 3053 plus 99 $635.53. So we spent $635.53. So as you can see, money goes by quickly, okay? When we spend things, whether it's for expenses, necessary expenses or not, that money leaves our account quickly, which is why it is important to have a purpose and a goal for what you are doing and where your money is going, okay? All right, now let's get back to the video. So the last few things that I want to share with you as it relates to establishing a budget and, just trying this new way of life when it comes to your finances is to give yourself grace, okay? Whether that is building an emergency fund, whether that is setting a budget, whether that is paying off debt, whether that is paying better attention to your finances and where your money is going. Give yourself grace, okay? I want to read you guys a scripture found in 2 Corinthians 12:9. Okay, and in this scripture, Jesus is talking to Paul, and Paul is telling Jesus, I'm struggling in this particular area of my life, and I just feel like I can't get it right, And so this is what Jesus tells him. Answered me, my grace is always more than enough for you, and my power finds its full expression through your weakness. Okay, so just remember, and that scripture does not just apply to your spiritual life. It does not just apply to one area of our lives. It applies to every single area of our lives. There's an area where you are trying to grow in, where you are trying to become better in, where you are trying to become more mature in. Give yourself grace. Recognize that God's grace is sufficient in our weaknesses. So don't be afraid to go to God. God, I know my finances is jacked up. I know I need to get it together. Help me. I'm trying, but this is hard. This is overwhelming. This is intimidating. God is not afraid of that, okay? So I want you guys to give yourself grace. Allow God to help you. Allow him to give you the strategy. Remember, last week's scripture was Deuteronomy 8:18, which says that God is the one who gives us the power to get wealth. And in doing that, his grace is also sufficient for where we are weak, all right? And then lastly, your homework assignment is to check your bank statements for the past 90 days. Yep, I said it. Go check your bank account for the last 90 days. See what expenses are coming out, okay? Which ones are reoccurring, how much they are, when they're coming out. Make a list, write it down, and begin to establish a budget. All of the links will be listed in the description box below for you to do, okay? So no excuses. If I left anything out of this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know some other topics that you want to see. I asked a poll on my Instagram, which again, if you're not following me on Instagram, you can follow me right here. I asked a poll to see what you guys wanted to see from me, and I want to know. So what video topics would you like to see? Leave a comment as well down below. And yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week for episode 3 of Finance Fridays. Bye.